Szanowni Państwo, dear guests, I'm honored to welcome you at the LifeScience Open Space Conference here in Krakow's Technology Park. I'm really grateful that you have decided to spend this time dedicated to life science, health, and innovation in this sector with us. And now, please, the director.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for this welcome. Can I have a switch? Okay, my name is Kazimierz Murzyn. I'm managing director responsible for this mess here. And welcome to our summit, Collaboration and Innovation Summit for Health and Quality of Life. We are doing this for, okay, thank you. We are doing this for 13th time, and first time after the COVID break. During the COVID break, we did it only online. So I'm very happy to welcome you here and meet you in person. That's very important. This is not the keynote, what I'm now doing. This is a very short introduction to our session. Let me introduce what will happen here. Why we are here. Actually, we are here to connect you with the ideas. That's the main purpose of the LifeScience Open Space since the very beginning. So we are focused on creating the place, the space, open space for collaboration and for collaboration between science and business, between different parts of different stakeholders of the life science, of the innovation community, focused on health and quality of life. And that's the idea. The technologies, products, services, and we hope during that your collaboration will create the situation in which the global problems related to health and quality of life will be solved more efficiently. And what about program here? Very quickly. The main part of the conference, it's a collaboration pitches. That's the main sessions, and the collaboration, as you can see on the slides, in several areas: hospitals of the future, active healthy aging, personalized medicine, data-driven treatments, lifestyle, startup scene, etc., etc. So these are mostly pitches or experts exposes or panels which are focused on basically the main purpose is to create the space for collaboration in this area. So this is the most important part of the program. Second, most important, that's very important. We are going to give the prizes. We are again back and giving the prizes. 3 prizes. One prize for the startups, for the best startup. This prize will be given by the leaders of the startup sessions. Just a moment. Let me say, each of this session has a leader. So you, if you have any problems, if you have any ideas, and you want to connect closer, you'll find out who is the leader of the session. And now coming back by giving the prize, we are giving 3 prizes, and the first for the best startup is given by the leaders of the startup scene. Second prize for the best presentation, most exciting cooperation offer is given by you, the participants of this session, because a lot of these presentations today about collaborations will be talking a lot about the digital health, the digitalization and artificial intelligence. We decided for yet another time to create or to organize voting totally in analog way. Behind you on the screen, you see the sessions, you see the program of the sessions, and you will be asked to tap the dot around the session, after the session, which around the presentations you like the most, as the most exciting cooperation offer. That's the point. And later on, we will be counting the dots and giving this prize to the best presentations. And third prize, which is also part of our mission here, is a pass for the best example of a practical approach to open innovation. And this prize is given by us, by Klaster LifeScience Kraków. So we decide about that, and we know all the presentations. That's the point. So we know who is doing individually. We don't evaluate the presentations. We evaluate the value of the presentation. That's very important to remember. And you will be remembered about this voting. Next part of the program is networking. It's a because we create here the space for the networking, and this is a request for you, don't stay away. This is, by the way, on the screen, this is not the best example of the networking, as you see. So we don't want that. We want you to see you talking between each other and connecting. That's the main purpose. Otherwise, it will be wasted time. And the third part of the program is the exhibition. There are stands, 21 stands in the showroom. So you can, anytime you have the time, free time, don't spend the time when you are bored. If you think that you are wasting the time, go to the showroom, take coffee, take cigarette. Don't smoke. Maybe cigarette, forget it. But that's something that this is a place for you. And visit those exhibitions, talk with the people, learn more from exhibitors. And then the last part of the situation, this organization, as you may notice, is this conference, as you may notice, is organized on the LifeScience Open Space collaboration platforms. Be active member of these collaboration platforms. At this moment, I mean not at this moment, yesterday night, there was 379 organizations on the platform and 857 community members. In this moment, it's more because they are just growing all the time. You will find the marketplace, events, programs, special interest groups. This is a way we want to bring this innovation community together. On the platform, on the conference, registered 257, I believe. That was yesterday. So I'm not sure about that. They will show up today, tomorrow. So please enjoy this platform. Later, you will be able to learn about this platform and collaboration opportunities later on. You will find in many places in 3 places, this part for making selfies. You can do it this way or individually. There is a one for threesome, if someone, the kind of larger one. Please use this as well. And show that you are here, show to the world you are here, and invite more people to the community platform. And I think that's the everything I wanted to say today. I mean, everything about the program. It's worth to mention the partners of this event. First, there's a strategic partner. I have a signs. Of course, the Sano. Yeah, that's visible. Okay. Okay, I'll also explain this. SANO, International Research Foundation for Computational Medicine, Kraków Technology Park as our host and also leader of the sessions of Lifestyles, Klaster LifeScience Kraków, and Kraków as a city, of course. After the short break, after the keynotes, because we have organized 3 very distinguished guests to talk with us, actually, to present to us. First will be Hans Hofstadt sitting in front of me. But after Hans' presentation, we will have a short break to divide these rooms into 2, Enterprise A and Enterprise B, and then the sessions will be run on the separate rooms till tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon we'll meet on the final session in the atrium, and tonight actually at 6 p.m. we are meeting also in the atrium for yet another nice meeting, which we call Inspirations. So you are all welcome. That's all from my side, and I welcome Hans Hofstadt to share with us his thought. I met Hans in, come on Hans. I met Hans in Budapest a few months ago, 3 months ago. 3 months ago, exactly. And I was just impressed with the presentation he gave over there during the meeting of EIT Health, because I found that he's talking about us. He was talking about the Philips, but actually about collaboration, but actually he was talking about us. I think you have to listen to the same, or maybe pretty much the same. It's not exactly the same, but about what we're doing in Philips for health and quality of life. How you did build the collaboration community.
Yeah, happy to share some. I hope I'm not going to disappoint you after this introduction, but we'll find out. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Kazimierz, for the very nice introduction. What I will do now, but maybe there's many people standing in the back, but there's a lot of room here up front, and I'm a very peaceful person, so don't be afraid to join me. Nice to meet you. Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here. I was driving by taxi from my hotel here, and I saw all the the environment here, which I think is very important. I will come back to that later as well. Seeing that this is a really vibrant community with companies, with universities, and this place really joining all these important stakeholders in innovation. What I will try to do is, I hope, inspiring you a little bit, maybe preempting the inspiration session of tonight, in terms of what we can do, what are the challenges, and what we can do to innovate in the health and healthcare space. And it's all about, and that is, I think, the main, if not the only message, is moving from transactional interactions to really working together to forming and establishing sustainable relations and partnerships, as I've put here. I will go through the presentation quite quickly. A lot of things, without doubt, you already know, so I don't have to go in any detail. Happy to have some interaction after the presentation. You will recognize from this slide the significant challenges that we are facing, particularly in providing appropriate, adequate, and accessible solutions for health and healthcare. Particularly the growing number of people suffering from chronic diseases that need support increasingly. Later on I will move into the area of digital solutions. But of course you have to realize health and healthcare are also really personal. So digital solutions can help to facilitate, but in the end it's, I would say, the last inch or inches to the patient that matter as well. It's about the personal contact. And digital solutions can facilitate and alleviate a number of things, make things more efficient, but in the end it's also people that connect, and that we also need to bear in mind. And tomorrow afternoon, in the very nice session that you will be surprised with, I'm not going to say anything about it, we will, amongst others, discuss this topic in more detail. As a result of the increasing number of people needing help, we are also confronted with a lack of hands. Less and less people, and there's the double graying, as they call it. We become older, we have less people that are working, and that leads to a really significant problem. And then, of course, there are unexpected things. So maybe the healthcare system is functioning when everything is business as usual, but then all of a sudden there is COVID, or there is a pandemic, and then it appears that we don't have any flexibility, that there's hardly any resilience left to address it. Now, digital is part of the solution, as I mentioned, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So in short, we have, I think, 4 main challenges. It's the demand that is increasing, it's the shortages of staff that, of course, plays with the demand, but even if the demand would not be increasing, staff shortages are there, and they are really significant, leading to overload of employees, people having problems with burnout, many times also caused by digital solutions, by the way. Maybe we have time to discuss that in detail. And of course, as a result of the increasing demand, the costs are exploding. So this is really an area where there's a lot of urgent need for innovation. Now, in terms of the trends, I think there's a number of challenges that we have discussed. There are two approaches that are being discussed. One is giving people, I'm not saying patients, people, opportunity to do more themselves, to have a healthier lifestyle. I was shocked by the remark about smoking, by the way, in the beginning. No, do not smoke, because that is one of the worst things you can do for your health. But everybody knows that. The question is, how do you make people stop? But anyway, there the focus is on consumers. It's not regulated or less regulated, but the challenges are big, and that we will discuss tomorrow afternoon, I hope, in more detail. The other areas focusing on professional healthcare are, for startups, for new companies, probably even more challenging because you're confronted with a lot of rules. In Europe, every country, in some countries even every region has different rules to allow new products and new solutions to the market. And of course, that means that there is a lot of focus also on delivering on the needs of the professional organizations, the regulators, the payers, the community in developing new products and new applications. And that's very important to keep in mind when you start with a new opportunity. Because in the end, it's about, innovation is about delivering. It's about providing the solution to the user, to the patient, to the professional, to the government, to society. Very important in this is to keep in mind that you have to show the benefit. Of course, you have to show the benefit to the consumer, to persuade the consumer to use your solution. It's even more needed to show the benefit to the payer and the regulator, and to convince that the solution that you are providing is worth its price. It's also essential to show to the provider, because in the end, if no professional in the healthcare space is going to use your solution, also there you may fail. So there are many, many stakeholders that you have to bring together to be successful in innovations in healthcare. And so the four areas that you, I think, should take into account is more than value-based healthcare. Then you look at cost and outcome, clinical outcome. Of course, two very important parameters to take into account. But it's also about the improvement that you can deliver to the user, the patient, the consumer, so their experience, and there are tools to measure that, patient-reported outcomes, patient-reported experiences. And of course, it's about the staff experience. I mentioned burnout, also related to digital solutions, people getting frustrated because they have to do too many clicks or to provide the same information a few times in different systems. That is a very important area to consider as well. So what we are witnessing, and that is particularly driven by the digital side, the digital opportunity of innovation. In the meantime, almost everything can be done digitally, imaging, digital pathology, screening and remote monitoring. I would say everywhere things are popping up, but in particularly also the contact between the healthcare professional and the patient and the healthcare professionals amongst each other. So we're moving from fragmented solutions to more integrated solutions, which should be interoperable, very important criterion. From, as I mentioned before, from transactional to really overall partnerships and showing the value over time, sustainable partnerships, as I mentioned, and from technologies that are all, I would say, not talking to each other and independent, to reusable platforms where you can have different solutions, because no one wants to use many different, particularly many different digital solutions on different systems in parallel. And it's also breaking the silos, really getting away from fragmentation to collaboration and partnerships. And so really important is the creation of long-term partnerships, and that, I think, like this platform can help to do that, bringing public and private partners, public-private partners, payers, providers, patients, all together, and really implementing, deploying the solutions in collaboration. very important to engage all the relevant stakeholders, as I explained before. So, how can you do that, and when is it appropriate to establish these partnerships? It's particularly depending on the phase. In the exploration phase, it's important really to get a feeling of where you can provide your solution, where it adds value. But also very important is to do it together, what we called in Philips co-creation of the solution. Working together between a company and a hospital, between a company and a GP, across the space, including working with patients. In the end, it's the patient that we want to help. It can also help to facilitate and simplify access to the market, delivering the product to the hospital, to the patient, to the GP, really is facilitated while you are developing it together. Because you have to show your first proof points, your first minimal viable product or minimal lovable product, which can be small, and in digital then you can expand further and you can develop while working together. And that is a very efficient, also cost-efficient and successful way of moving forward. And finally, when you come up with something completely different, without working together, it's completely impossible. You really have to bring the stakeholders together to innovate and to show really why a disruption pays off. And in healthcare, often much more complicated than in other areas, because it only will be successful when obsolete technology, when obsolete approaches to healthcare are also indeed replaced by others that are better. And that, of course, is a very challenging task, because you don't want to harm the patient, and there's a lot of need to demonstrate the added value of your solution. So it's about co-creating together, and that is, I think, a very important message. And in a partnership, a strategic partnership, collaborating across the field, starting with really understanding what is the need, what are the problems that your future and potential customers are facing, listening to them, and then, very important, not only to listen to the boss of the hospital or to the, I would say, the Minister of Health, but really talking to all the people that should be involved. Maybe the radiology head, but also the radiology technician, maybe also the nurse. It's about really taking along all the people and getting the input of all the people that, I would say, can benefit from your solution. And again, including the patient, the person. Digital solutions can be, of course, used in themselves, but data, the power of data, should not be underestimated, because if you want to demonstrate the added value, you need to have the proof points, so you need to have the data to prove what it is that you do that will make healthcare better, that will make patients better, and there you need the data. You need to create a file, a design history file for the regulator, or you need to convince the payer that it's worthwhile to invest in your new innovative solution. And of course it's helped to co-create, because then you get access to data, you get access to experiences, you get useful feedback, whether the user likes what you are developing, because you give the user a voice in the development. And then in the end it's about implementation, and particularly when it's about digital solutions, it's also about transformation, because the mindset of the people that are providing the solution, the healthcare worker, the doctor, also needs to get readjusted. I don't know, I apologize, the details of the Polish educational system in medicine. I do know that in many other countries in detail, including the Netherlands, but in the curriculum there's hardly any attention at the moment still for digital solutions, how you use the power of data, how you interact with the patient, supported and strengthened by ICT. And that also requires some changes, and also an opportunity as well as a challenge. Now this is a very dull slide, but what I did, a kind of brain dump, shared that also when we met in Budapest, is kind of the key success factors. I'm not going to read them out loud, but it's really, I would say, what I think is useful if you start up with a company or if you have an idea about a new solution, a kind of list of what you need to do. Feel free to take a picture, indeed, it's maybe good for memory. But it's really starting, and I'm repeating myself here a little bit, it's really by starting to understand the need. And then understanding the need, it cannot be high level. So many men die of prostate cancer. Many men also don't. That is too high level. But you have to understand in more detail what it is where doctors are struggling with, where the patient is struggling with, where are the costs that you can reduce. So it's really about the details that you need to do, and a lot of things that you need to do internally. You also have to a little bit change the mindset, because you have to realize, as we are sitting here, I have no doubt everybody has a university degree. So we were innovating a lot in Philips Research with PhDs and highly educated people. But you have to understand that most of the costs in healthcare are made by people who have less knowledge about health and healthcare, and really, I would say, require a different approach in being, I would say, supported, helped, and also in the solution you have to think about who is the actual user, and you really have to dig deep. You have to go down and understand in detail what it is that you need to develop for. And so also very important is the mindset. Many cases, particularly in academic research teams think they know they are the best. That's of course good as a motivational talk, but it's also important to see what is happening around you and to see how you can, I would say, share your assets, your knowledge, your expertise with others that have also in their area highly skilled and highly professional people, and how can you make 1 + 1 is 3 in that area. Capabilities, just pick out a few things. Very important to analyze what is it that you have, what are the capabilities you have, but also where are the gaps, where can you work together to fill the gaps and become stronger in the collaboration. And this should happen on all levels, so the CEO down to the researcher, and the support of the researcher needs to be aligned to make a benefit. Then when you have done that, when you have prepared yourself internally, you can go out, and then of course you can work together, but then be open to what others can provide to you. Realize that you can do one thing maybe very well, somebody else can do another thing very well. Together you can become better, but also think through what is it that you can provide, what you can deliver, and what the collaborator can benefit from. It should be a win-win. In any strategic partnership, the last thing is the most important one. It only will work when the parties trust and respect each other. So not one partner being subordinate to another, but really understanding the value that the partners are delivering and really doing more together, and really respecting and trusting each other is a very important precondition for that. So this is, I would say, the final slide, where I think partnerships are the key, sustainable partnerships are the key, but you have to, they don't come out of nowhere. They have to be based on investment by all partners, really working together with a common goal that you have jointly identified. And then, of course, it's about the execution. In the end, innovation is about implementation. It's about delivering the solution to the patient, to the user, to the consumer, to the payer. I hope there was a little bit of inspiration for you, and I'm looking forward to all the presentations. I do not compete, so you don't have to. You should not vote for me, but I'm very interested to see what we'll hear in the next hours and days. And yeah, please feel free to discuss when you have a question or a problem or have some comments, because I'm also here to learn. Thank you very much. I'm open for a question or critical comment.
Thank you very much. I think because we are a little bit late, we should
or maybe not
questions private.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of questions to Hans, and you can ask. I believe
everything. You can ask me everything.
I have a quick question, and we can start. Closing the rooms now, because we are going to divide into two separate rooms: Enterprise A, Enterprise B, and two separate sessions. But question is, we can do it, of course, but I can continue. Let's say organize the time, because it's very interesting to say this presentation, this experience is based on your private experience. So it's not a theory.
No. This is what the approach that we developed and that we practiced when I was still working at Philips Research, but now I'm also working, for instance, at the Utrecht Science Park, which basically is a kind of ecosystem as you have here, with companies, with academia, by the way, also with the government being present there, which is kind of useful. And this is the same approach that we apply there as well.
Because I assume that a lot of successes in health of Philips has to be attributed to this type of strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. I can give examples of that, but maybe not now in view of time, but happy to share them also.
Thank you very much, Hans. That was a pleasure to have you here. Now the short break, and we'll start two separate sessions. Now I leave the leading the role to this room, actually, to Sano. So first, Andrzej Kononowicz. Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first divided session, the Hospital of the Future. My name is Andrzej Kononowicz. I lead the Department of Bioinformatics and Telemedicine at the Jagielloński University Medical College. And it's my great pleasure to chair this session for you. We are a bit behind the schedule, but no worries. I'm sure we can make it up and still have time for discussion, because this is actually what is most important in conferences. So before we move to the Hospital of the Future, I think it's important we realize what it is not. There are many problems that contemporary hospitals have to deal with. Those symptoms of hospitals' illnesses are not uniformly present in all institutions. There are some innovative, but I'm pretty sure you can recognize many of the challenges that are placed or that are present in hospitals you visit. In particular, they are overcrowded. It's a big challenge for us in Poland, but I guess in other countries as well, is that you have to wait sometimes for months or even years for important procedures. Even though I do not question here the competences and the goodwill of health professionals, the high prevalence of medical errors is a huge problem. You probably heard of this famous report by the US Institute of Medicine, according to which 100,000 people die annually just in the United States due to preventable medical errors. And this number is even regarded as an underestimation of a problem. Then, because of busyness, because of stress, sometimes also burnout, the hospitals become detached from patient problems. It turns out that people are following guidelines in a cookbook manner and do not see what is really the perspective of the patients, the one who should be in the center of healthcare. Then we heard it already in the previous presentation, there are many silos, departments, wards that are isolated from the others, and it's the burden of integrating it, it's pushed to the patient who undergoes many repetitive medical investigations, fills in many unnecessary paper forms. Then, if you have such a system, it's not surprising that there is high cost and inefficiency in the way they are working. If the work conditions are not satisfying, people are moving away. They are changing to more wealthy countries, moving to the private sector, or even leave the health professions for a more secure, more quiet and balanced work. And actually, even if that's not a big problem enough, there are more challenges happening. And especially in the last years, we went through a series of disasters, catastrophes. There's even a nice new buzzword termed perma-crisis. So we are in the state of moving from one crisis to the other. Just to name the pandemic, the wars, consequences of climate change, and the aging population. Now, what I'd like to suggest in this session, that technology might be a lifeline for us. It will allow us to jump to a new, more bright future. And there are so many digital tools we can use. First of all, artificial intelligence. There is nowadays, especially in fields like, for instance, radiology, many tools that meet or even surpass the diagnostic quality of clinicians. There is a lot of data with high volume, with high variability that waits to be analyzed and used for adapting the healthcare to the new needs. We are now exactly the day 1 year before that ChatGPT by OpenAI was publicly released. This is now another groundbreaking technology that allows health professionals to be supported by voice-to-text acquisition, processing of information to produce automatic medical documentation. Also, patients can benefit from that because they gain a friendly but also knowledgeable source of information that can motivate them or explain them the processes they are going through. It's great that thanks to technology, physicians can now practice in a safe environment the procedures before they meet the patients. There are concepts like the digital twin, a simulation that allows to build a replication of a human patient, a kind of new generation of medical record that is able to give the health professionals the possibility to make individual predictions, individual simulations of the patient's procedures for a more safe healthcare. High precision procedures and those that require repetitive tasks can be replaced by robots. The new term cobots are collaborative robots that work hand in hand with professionals and are becoming the new team member of health professionals. There are many immersive technologies that can navigate health professionals in procedures. We have the trend to keep the patient as long as possible at their homes, to move the point of care out of the hospital and introduce more concepts like virtual world, where health professionals using mobile devices, wearable devices, embedded devices, can oversee at distance the patients and call them into the hospitals only in situations when this is really required. And this all, thanks to digital technologies, can be well and dynamically integrated into automatic workflows. So I hope all or most of those technologies will be discussed in today's session. The way I understand open space, this is a marketplace where we can say where we currently are, what we intend to do, where we need help, and what we can offer for others for help. And actually this even regards the chair of the session. So before I give you voice to your pitches, I'd like to briefly mention where I come from. So as I said, I lead the Department of Bioinformatics and Telemedicine. We are 70 staff members located in 2 buildings around the Kraków. We deal with many research and education topics in the area of digital clinical decision support, e-mental health, technology enhanced learning, immersive environments. There will be presentations today of colleagues who collaborate with our team members. We deal with bioinformatics, system biology, genomics, biostatistics. So as you can see, a highly verbal bunch of topics. What is unifying all of us, and what I'd like to propose here as a topic that is our activity that needs your support, is education. And this was actually, I'm very happy that you mentioned it in your presentation, Hans, that medical curricula require now substantial modifications, or even writing them anew from scratch to adapt to the new digital world. And I have a great pleasure, privilege, but also responsibility to be in teams that work on new curricula for medical education at Jagiellonian University Medical College. Actually, after this session, directly after this session, I have a meeting regarding that. So what I'm like to take from this session and is inspiration. What should we teach our students in terms of digital competencies to make the hospital of the future come true, to prepare the new generation of health professionals to not avoid IT, not to fear the artificial intelligence as something that will take over our world soon, but to embrace it like a new colleague that can be used or can help us in our difficult world. So this is something I just like to very briefly mention. We are involved in European projects where we build curricula. For instance, we built a curriculum for clinical reasoning. Clinical reasoning is the ability to integrate many information in solving clinical problems. And you see here, this is the new curriculum we have developed with many boxes that lead to individual learning modules. There are still many boxes left that can be filled with units dealing with the support of computers in clinical reasoning. The tool for that shouldn't be lectures, that they are boring. What people like to use is active learning. And a tool that is perfectly aligned with this goal in health education are virtual patients. There are so many different types of virtual patients. They are already proven to be effective. And what we do on daily basis, what I was involved in the recent few months, is to build collections of virtual patients that show from different angles with different goals. So these are the key symptoms that we addressed. And here are the different virtual patients we have created. Each of this is a separate diagnosis. That this can be extended by the demonstration of the use of digital health in the clinical reasoning process. But enough about myself. We have 5 presentations to go. We will start with Kamil Kipiel. He is the CEO and co-founder of Medical Simulation Technologies. He has many years of experience as a manager in startup companies and technology transfer organizations. He holds a Master of Administration and a postgraduate diploma specializing in financial markets analysis and from the business school at the University of Economics in Kraków. Kamil is a experienced trainer and consultant in intellectual property rights, technology transfer, innovation strategy, academic entrepreneurship, and private equity financing. He's the leader of a team of experts working for several investment funds and serves as a technology broker in Polish and international projects dealing with the commercialization of R&D results. Kamil Kipiel will present new training technologies in structural heart procedures. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, now I'm blushing after that introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here with you. To the organizers, big applause about this event. So I hope I'm not going to bore you during this speech, but I want to, dig into our our not startup, but our company called Medical Simulation Technologies, by the way, set up here in Kraków 7 years ago. It was 2016. And from the really beginning, we are dealing with medical simulation in the cardiovascular sector, heart and structural heart interventions. That's the scope of our business and R&D development. So maybe you can ask me, I'm not going to say any more about me because that was a really long introduction. I didn't know about it. But you can ask me why medical simulation is so important in medicine in 21st century. Because the global issue we have right now is that physicians, medical doctors usually learn on us, on patients, and it shouldn't be like that. So, of course, they can teach on animals or cadavers, but it's not a real patient. It's not a real human life. And finally, we got some simulators on the market, but most of them are based on computer graphics and synthetic heart models, which are far away from reality. So what we came up this 10 years ago, more or less, we discovered that market needs something new, something which is based on real data set from human being. So that's what are we doing, and this is our technology. Maybe this slide first. Okay, sorry. Now this clicker. Okay, this slide here. What you can see here is our patented technology of converting the computed tomography scans of the human heart into our simulation system. It was the really very first technology that appeared on the market in this sector, and we are really a leader right now on the market in such simulation. So, of course, we add many features which are available in the modern TEE and the structural heart interventions, like 3D modeling, 4D modeling, measurements, and many, many more. But we came up that we can go further. So we discovered personalized simulation. That's not maybe subject of today's presentation. Maybe I will do something more next year, but this is the project we are going to deal with in the next few years. One of the panel on this event is personalized medicine. So we go further, so personalized simulation. Imagine that the physician, the doctor, can train the exact patient before the procedure in real life. This is possible right now, and we are able to provide such technology to the hospitals or the universities. So we usually convert the CT scans of the human heart. That's a standard procedure of examination. If the hospital sent us a CT data, of course anonymized, we are able, even in 24 hours, to convert this CT data of the heart into our simulation system. And we can upload this image to the simulator, so the physician can train the exact patient before the examination in real life. It's really, it's coming and it's going to the really high level for medical simulation. So if you have any ideas in this branch, in this topic, I really welcome you to contact me after the presentation. If we can support you in that subject, please come to me as well. The first simulator we put on the market something like 6 years ago is Mr. Trinity. The name is, we are really proud about it. TEE is after transesophageal echocardiography, really demanding examination when you have to put the probe inside the esophagus, inside the human body, and examine the heart from inside. And imagine that globally, physicians are usually trained on patients how to proceed this examination. So that's really risky and really demanding for a physician. We think that simulators are the best way to train, to find a more effective the training curve for physician of this examination. So we discovered Trinity, advanced hardware we produce on our own, really unique software which is based on computed tomography scans, so this technology I mentioned before. And of course, we have growing library of cases with various pathologies, which are the most common in the world and really unique in the world, because we cooperate with many medical centers around the world, and we gain the data from human being, and we can extend our library really, really much. This year, we came up with Mr. Timothy Synergy. So we combine TEE, transesophageal plus transthoracic in one machine. So if anybody would be interested in such machine, so just please contact. Maybe I will mention that we also have online simulators, basically Timothy online or mobile version. And we are on the market something like 6 years. We put our feet on 5 continents. And to be honest with you, we started from Poland because we decided that Polish cardiovascular experts should be natural trainees of our equipment. But our beachhead market was United States. It was 2017. We made collaboration, maybe I will go to this slide, with Columbia University and Cardiovascular Research Foundation. We have letter of intent and agreement of cooperation with that entities, and that opened us many doors in United States, basically Harvard Medical School and many other entities, including the big brands in medtech sector, like Abbott Laboratories, Edwards, and others, plus big pharma. These are our customers right now, and we are planning with them to place on the market customized simulator for structural heart interventions. One of that is basically the Trinity. The first customized simulator we placed on the market 5 years ago was Harpoon Medical for the small company from Baltimore, US, later on acquired by Edwards with the amount of $100 million. That was the amount of acquisition of Harpoon Medical with our simulators on board. So we create the technological platform for structural heart interventions. That was a mitral valve plastics. So we went further, and that's why I'm going to introduce you today that Trinity. That's our newborn baby, so advanced transseptal puncture simulator, which combines, you see it's a big machine, transesophageal echocardiography, plus the training machine for the puncture of the heart. The technology or the procedure was invented in late 50s last century, but nowadays we have more than 20 procedures available on the market which uses such attitude. We combined the hardware, we combined the software. So the first, what you see here, is our state-of-the-art technology of echocardiography. So, which is based on computed tomography scans. We use it also here in TSP simulator. It's really 100% human body. That's the crucial advantage we have comparing to the other simulators available on the market right now. So 100% anatomy. Plus, we combine it with a fluoroscopy, which comes from CR visualization. That's a standard procedure for that interventions. So what you see on the slide is coming with the enhancing of realism of that procedure and really well-prepared trainees to the procedure in real life. But moreover, we combine fluoroscopy plus echocardiography, ultrasonography. So what you see here on this slide is a fluoroscopy image, but with devices visible also in TEE examination, the shape of this heart. Moreover, we are able to visualize the devices which you have to insert to the human body to make this procedure. It's really, really authentic. It came with really high level of procedure. Plus many other modes like multi-planar reconstruction for multiple S-curve definitions. And this is really important thing. One of the screens is devoted as a virtual assistant or virtual tutor. You know, this device takes your hand and leads you through the procedure. Okay, he tells you what to do, how to proceed with the puncture, well, how you can obtain the image or find the pathology. It's also here in this virtual assistant, which is included in this setup. So What you see here is a, sorry, I messed the clicker. This is our device. I'm not going maybe to dig into because I'm not going to bore you, but also we include haptic feedback in the hardware. So when you make this procedure on the simulator, not only see on the screen, but also you can feel in your hand the process of puncture. And this is a great thing we have here. That's a teamwork. So we train echocardiographers to proceed the TE examination, plus the physicians, the surgeons, which provide the puncture. So we train teamwork in this device. And maybe it's worth to mention about co-financing of this project, because we want a competition from the regional structural funds from Małopolska. And by the way, this project will be highlighted by the Marshall Office here in Kraków in Małopolska as one of the best, providing in the less financial perspective here. The market for simulation is growing, of course. It's estimated, like you see the numbers here. We have two basic pillars of our customers. The first one is medical entities, universities, simulation centers, teaching hospitals. But on the other hand, these are the medtech companies here. And we discovered that, you know, engineers from Abbott, Edwards, Boston Scientific, and the other entities are not able to come to the patient and make the procedure. And these guys are producing devices. So they need to come to the simulator and train these devices using the simulator. And later on, they are used in the preclinical and clinical studies in teaching hospitals or within the universities. These are the few, maybe awards, it's not so important. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm open to any questions if you have any.
If there are no questions, maybe I have a very brief one. So I'm not only a medical educator, but also a researcher in medical education. And my question is about how open are your simulators to export data for analysis, maybe to prove efficiency. How open are you to integrate?
We are really open, and to be honest, we started a project, scientific projects of comparing the data, how you proceed with the examination before training on the simulator and after training the simulator. We have some reference centers in the United States and Europe. We just started this year to provide the examination. We will come with the data, I think, next year. So yes, we are really open. We are really open not only of converting the CT data, but if you have the other images from the scanning of the patient, we will be ready to upload it. This is connected with the personalized simulation I mentioned before. So we are really, really open to provide examination in a simulating life for the life work of the physician. Yes, in the future.
Thank you.
That's a future. And I'm really open to any cooperation, because that's a target of this meeting here. So if you have any ideas for transseptal puncture simulator, if you have any ideas of customized simulator for microinvasive heart interventions, or you can use our experience in medical imaging, so we are really open to any connect. Okay, thank you so much.
Joining us now, Professor Zbigniew Nawrat hardly needs introduction. A world-renowned expert in medical robotics, surgery robotics, dedicated teacher, inventor, and visionary. His career spanning over 30 years at the Department of Cardiac Surgery. Working alongside Professor Zbigniew Religa, he created the basis of the Polish artificial heart project. His academic journey began with theoretical physics, leading to a PhD in artificial heart technology and habilitation in surgical robotics. As a co-founder of the Heart Prosthesis Institute at the Professor Zbigniew Nawrat Foundation for Cardiac Surgery Development, he has been at the forefront of bioengineering breakthroughs. Notably, his design of the POLVAT cardiac support chambers has been saving patients for more than 3 decades. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Zbigniew Nawrat on his talk on Introduction to AI-driven surgical robots. The floor is yours.
Thank you for invitation for this conference and also nice presentation of me. The lesson will be about surgery, about surgeon, about robots, medical robots, Robin Heart. In this case, also AI, and a few inspiration for you for the future. I look for the investor for Robin Heart, and also if you enjoy this lesson, let's build medical robots with me. Firstly, the gain of modern medicine is increase of productivity and standardization, and due to the demographic traits, etc., we need the robots, because the robots add competence and efficiency where it's lacking. After the telemedicine, currently the time for teleaction for these robots is important, and the medical robots also is a good market for if you need money for your life. Example, surgery. How to do it and the definition of surgeon. The surgeon connected consists of senses, the tools, different tools, also special dress, and possibility for moving. It is all surgery definition. Of course, the surgery is a mechanical job that you need the special kind of degree of freedom, as mechanic said. And I try to test my students to perform different kind of surgery, blocking the possibility for moving. That it is good example that if you have a tools that not have the same mechanical characteristic that surgeon, that you did not perform the surgery in so the same kind like if you had a man. Surgical tasks require a significant number of degree of freedom, utilizing the full range of motion available in the human hand and wrist. This is the one of the reasons why robotic system can be advantageous in the surgery, as they can exceed the natural limitation of human head movements. 4 advantages are related to better anatomical understanding and decision making, personalized to the patients, because also surgeon it is decision making process. And the question, do you know any robotic system can exceed the natural limitation of the human? Surgical robots market, 20% per year is better. We can find on the market currently more than 30 laparoscopic minimally invasive surgery platforms that are ready for clinical applications. If you will see it, let's look for this. It's only part of about 100 currently prepared for it is from China, from India, China. All presented robots are similar to each other because they are based on one of the several simple mechanical structure proven in the industry: multi-axis and spherical robots. It is the multi-axis base. It is the parallelogram connected with the next kind of robots. Of course, if you understand the patent, it is the one of the important possibility for prepare the bear market, and we can find about more than 1,000 patent families on one company currently the best on the market. So where is the opportunity for a functional improving our breakthrough innovations? How to make a medical robots? One example for me, because let's start from the doctor, from Professor Zbigniew Nawrat, and he said that better we will start from the patients, that we work between these surgeon and this patient prepare the materials, devices that is better to use for these patients. After artificial heart, we perform also Robin heart robot. We started from 2 points because telemanipulator from the surgeon and also from the tools connecting the tissue and ergonomy, and we prepared several models using also the physical and computer modeling for tested it. That is the few picture demonstrating we prepared that about 12 prototype and robots, surgery robots for different kind of applications. The bigger in the world 10 years old medical robot Robin heart MCC. We tested on animal also. It is one of the newest and also tool that is possible use on the end of the surgery robot, but also in your hand if you need it. And few examples of our experiments, also tele experiments using different plays for show the problem that connecting with tele surgery. It's the tools with sensors for force feedback. And different kind of tools for different kind of applications, and also a virtual operating room prepared 15 years ago in the foundation. I was the first who have bought this kind of software in Poland and prepared this kind of simulation and planning surgery for the robots, and the milestones that, as you can see, that in 2000 we started the Robin heart project. And we have several patents for this. The robots change the surgery, and the most important news is, of course, artificial intelligence as a decision system. Why AI? Because the digitalization opened the door for robotics, but also for calculation and simulation used directly to the advice system during the operation. And the trend is to use the progressive automations in different kind of artificial organs and robots for surgery also. For minimal invasive surgery, the AI is very important because the less invasive the surgery, the less visual and sensory information we have, that the more the role of AI increases, that we have not so many information that we need, and that the role of AI is more important for this. That if you know how the process is going and you know the task, that we can transfer this task for the robots and artificial intelligence also in this kind of. Why does AI help our surgeon? It can help to improve surgical outcomes because by providing surgeons with the real-time information and feedback, enhancing the surgical planning and decision-making and reducing the risk of complications during the surgery. Why do robots need AI? Because robots need AI to be able to operate autonomously, make decisions, and perform the complex task. We perform also the first experiments using the AI system for recognition the tools in the surgery fields, but also we prefer the first autonomous
Tak się robot w automacie uczy elektrokoagulacji.
Teleoperation that one task is very important to perform when we stop the contact with the operator, that the robots look that we have the contacts with the operator, you know that have decision. If you need the coagulation, please do it. That it is the lesson that we try to teach the robots for preparing this autonomous coagulation. Of course, because of the feedback that we have force sensors, because the robots need the sensors. Robots and AI are changing the medicine. In my opinion, AI it is the part of the medical robotics. From definition, to be robot independent, need the digitalization, sensors, tool, automation of performed tasks. Do we need to reinvent surgery? Do you know any robots that can exceed this natural limitation of the human? Yes, for diagnosis, tomograph. cyberknife for the action. These robots do not imitate the surgeon. They move on beyond human sensor and computational capabilities. The difference between old and new surgery will be the like between the bird and an airplane. We still manage to imitate the bird from its ability to fly to its excellent navigation, but we fly planes and rockets successfully, far and precisely. Let's look for the new surgery that will be compared to this slide. That's progress in the flying apparatus. We need only 60 years from the first trials to be on the Luna, at the moon. Thank you for this short presentation. I hope that you enjoy it, and please contact with me about it.
Thank you, Professor Nawrat. Do we have questions? Oh, there is one.
I have a
question. Because a stupid strategy in Poland granted the applications model, that I lost 10 years, that I have now to start next time, and I need 10 million euro for 2 years for create new team and new model of the robots, and next offer the next stage of about 100 million or like this for prepare the first clinical model of the robots.
Okay, any more questions? If not, I'd like to thank you for the presentation, and our next, Our next speaker, Ruslana Dovzhyk, is Chief Executive Officer and Chief Business Development Officer at Technovator Health. She has 9 years of experience in quantum wireless charging technology, particularly in the realm of medical devices and active implants requiring a continuous energy supply. Ruslana has played a key role in prolonged battery life, avoiding recurrent surgeries and enabling seamless energy and data transfer. She holds degrees in organizational management and international relations from Sami State Agricultural University in Ukraine, and teaching and coaching in physical examination and habilitation from the National University of Physical Education and Sport. Additionally, she completed the mini MBA program at Business Solution International School. It's my privilege to welcome Ruslana Dovzhyk as she presents her pioneering work on the first remote charging solution for active implantable devices.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. As you already know, my name is Ruslana. I'm CEO of Technovator and Technovator Health. Actually, we invented an absolutely new method of energy transfer based on energy quantization. It was so many problems, existing problems that previously mentioned in hospital, with the patients, with artificial intelligence, and probably our technology is able to solve some of these problems. So what about our technology? Technology based on energy quantization. First principles that, actually the principles that first put forward by Max Planck in 1901. Max Planck postulated that energy was quantized and could be emitted or absorbed by a small unit of energy known as quantum. And we actually mastered such a principle. Probably you know already that more than 70 million lives are taken by heart disease, and actually it's almost 33% of all death cases. And I have to tell that more than 72 million people suffer from the heart disease over the world. And the market of active implantable devices is really huge and counts more than 27 billion euro. And actually it's expected its growth by 42 billion by 2027. And actually, did you know that people need to do every 5 to 7 years the replacements of cardiac pacemaker, depending on battery life? So that's why it's necessary to go through the full-scale surgery on the organs, and even it's necessary to take some medicines like antibiotic to have after the surgery, do not get sepsis and some other diseases. And did you know that people still do not have the possibility to do real-time diagnostic? They can do the full-time diagnostic only once per 6 months, and it's also dependent on battery life. So we know that many actually technologies already exist on the market, like companies work on such technologies like ultrasound, microwave, magnetic resonance, induction, piezoelectricity, solar cell placed under the skin. But still no solution on the market, and still people need to go through the repeated surgeries. And if you open the cardiac pacemaker, you will see that they have 3 batteries inside, and actually it's like to prolong the battery life, but still they need to go for the surgery and replace such a cardiac pacemaker. Our technology operates outside of electromagnetic fields, does not generate heat and emission, that is the key, and is able to charge in various environment conditions over a distance with really high efficiency, up to 95%. That means that it will be possible to charge different implantable devices, especially also such devices, not only cardiac pacemaker, that require the constant energy consumption. So what it could be, for example, if we talk about the cardiac pacemaker, it will necessary to install receiving element inside of the cardiac pacemaker and to have the charging base, such like smaller like a smartphone. And there will be some advantages that people will have the possibility to recharge their implants remotely. They will have the possibility to do real-time monitoring of their health statement and statement of the device. And also we already successfully passed some safety tests to test the technology for the consumer electronics, but definitely we will need to test it on human. And actually, what we also have in our technology, we have secure data exchange protocol. That is a special protocol for our technology. And it will be possible to transfer such information about the health statement between the patients and doctors. Just imagine if people will use different implantable devices such as deep brain stimulator, or cardiac pacemaker, insulin pump. It will be possible to integrate our receiving element into that implant, and it will be possible to send the data to the receiving element, then to our charging base, and from the charging base to the hospitals. And doctors will have the possibility to react on the health statement immediately, providing patients with the prescriptions. Actually, we are going to sell license of the technology and generate the new IP. We already started the negotiation with such big companies, and also we have some potential partners with whom we are planning to collaborate. For the creating such a device with our technology, because currently we have already the transmitting and receiving element, but definitely we will need to integrate it into the device and to create such a charging device, and after that to go to the trials on animals, preclinical, clinical research, and to pass some regulation as well. And actually, before the PMA test that required for the United States, that will enough like 5 million to build the solution. That is our team. We have 3 co-founders, like inventors. Some they are also together here. Actually, they are absolutely different, and they have such a different ability. One with strong like technical skills, the another one with out-box mind thinking. And also we have the key leaders in different scope and different industries that also support our technology. And we already received some trust from the different organization, like worldwide organization, and we have also different advisors. We do believe that we will have the possibility to bring such a solution to the market. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready for your question.
Any questions? Yes, please.
I have a question because I was trying to understand. So you have a working prototype, yes?
Yes, definitely. I have to tell also that if you can see, our technology also supported by a Polish National Research and Development Center, and previously we successfully accomplished the joint project with Polish National Research and Development Center, integrating technology into 6 consumer electronics products. So we have the prototype, and in 2019 we met the person who used cardiac pacemaker. He, one of our advisors, and he was the first who did ask if our technology is able to charge implantable devices. In 2019, we didn't know it, but during the test and 3 years of the development, we actually know that it was possible to charge in similar environment to the human body. And I have to tell that we built the prototype, the second version for the implantable devices, and we are planning also to build another one to go through the SART test.
So right now, what you actually need is to find the money and to create the clinical trials to actually prove that it is safe for patients.
Medical, I mean also like trials on animals, because we will need to test the solution on chronic disease animals. Actually,
what are the safety standards? I mean, how many patients need to be tested to actually prove it's safe?
For the medical trials, we do expect based like on such. We also oriented for the one of our key markets like United States, and it will be like enough 6-8 peaks for such a trials with chronic disease to test it during 6 years, and after that we can go to the clinical test. Based on the United States system regulations, it will enough to go to the 510K regulation to start sell, and after that we can go to the such a big companies like Medtronic, Boston Scientific.
So it's a long game, like 5 years plus.
But you know, for the 510K, it's not a long game. It takes around like 4 or 5 years to be with the solution. But let's say for the PMA test, definitely we will need to take longer time to do such test and go with such certificate on the market. But on such such stage for the PMA test, definitely we will need like to attract another fund. It's probably could be like 10-15 millions, but that will be the game already with the big players like Medtronic, Boston Scientific.
I have a very short technical question. How long does it take to charge implantable device, and for how long does it then last?
Actually, if you, let's say, if you know the big file, and we need to transfer the big file to someone, what we use? We usually use typically a zip program or WinRAR program. Make it smaller to send it to someone, and someone can repackage such a file. The similar we can do with energy, but in our case, we can take energy from the source, like a socket, to the transmitting element. Transmitting element can convert such energy for something that they use between transmitting and receiving element. And it looks like our transmitting element can divide energy for the smaller portion, sending and forming and sending a weak information signal about the compressed energy, and receiving element can reconstruct such energy. The more unique thing that is the structure and material that we use for the transmitting and receiving elements.
Okay, so one more question.
Actually, you know, we can use different frequency. It could be like 5 megahertz, it could be 6.78 megahertz. We use the safely like range to use safe in our technology. But actually, if we talk about the signals, it is a weak electromagnetic wave between transmitting and receiving elements. If you try to measure the electromagnetic fields, you will see nothing except only a weak signal that it will not enough to transfer energy. It's only like, you know, about the information.
One more question, yes?
Hey, why did you choose the IP licensing business model? Why not B2B?
I can tell you because, you know, we have different scopes where we can bring technology. Definitely for the healthcare, we can see the bigger value that, you know, if we can bring such technology to the humanity, it will be like a good even for us if we already have such invention. But to prove it, it's not such easy. And definitely we are planning to go to another industry where we can bring the technology really fast. Let's say in the mobility, because we currently have the investor in mobility segment here, the manufacturer of the e-bike. And we do expect to be with the solution by mid next year. And I think if we will go with such a solution for the mobility segments, definitely earlier or later, we will have the good chance to bring it to the healthcare. That's why licensing, because we have different segments: consumer electronics, transportation, robots. As also mentioned about surgery robots, it will be possible also to charge such robots, and also active implantable devices. But not only implantable device, but it will be possible to charge also medical device.
All right, so thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you for your attention, and thank you for having me here.
And it's a great pleasure to bring to the stage Mr. Jakub Kamiński. He is applied computer scientist, graduated from AGH University of Science and Technology in Kraków, enthusiast of 3D technologies with demonstrated history of working in the computer software industry. His developments focus on processing, modeling, and analysis of properties of complex biomedical structures. Professionally interested in data visualization and education aspects in interactive and innovative projects, tirelessly with intention of joining together the worlds of computer technologies with various areas in working applications for real-life scenarios. Today, Jakub Kamiński is going to inspire us with his talk on universal immersive medical volume data visualizations. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you for kind introduction. My name is Jakub Kamiński, and here on behalf of SANO, I'll present the presentation about universal approach, namely multi-platform approach to immersive medical volume data visualization. And what is the main problem nowadays with this immersive approaches? So in case of high-resolution medical volume data, the typical approach is to go through the processing of data that is acquired from CT or MRI scans, and to go through surface reconstruction to be able to load it on those mobile headsets. But in case of high-resolution data like Conbin or spiral computed tomography, of course widely used in diagnostic practice, this data require dedicated approach when visualizing using those immersive headsets in order not to lose diagnostic information. And of course, this additional possibility to segment those data allows us to indicate specific anatomical areas. But still, the first step should be to visualize those data immediately after acquisition. So the solution could be to combine real-time ray marching, which is standard state-of-the-art technique, with the ability to load data in a standard format with optional automatic segmentation based on deep learning. And thanks to interactive interface based on hand gestures, this is quite natural for humans to operate. using those headsets to manipulate those volume rendered data in a convenient and precise manner, additionally providing this 3D depth effect, stereoscopic effect that is presented in those headsets. And what's more, wireless data transmission between those stereoscopic devices allows for comfortable use without the need of cables, if not necessarily. But of course, tethered is also possible. And the presented project at this stage is focused on orthodontics with the cooperation with Professor Piotr Fudaj that is presented here, and he will talk about this after me. But I will briefly discuss a little bit of technical issues with this type of visualization for various dental and in the future medical specializations. Those are typical CBCT acquired data. Those are quite high precise and with the voxel ranging from 100 microns. Here we've got 3 perpendicular cross sections and 3D reconstruction that is the standard in case of the flat screen visualization. So our main idea was to render this type of data on PC with the connection on to AR or VR headset. So going through those buzzwords, universal immersive medical volume data visualization. Specifically, we are dealing with multi-vendor background with OpenXR standard. We are multi-platform based on Unity, and we can use both wireless or wired connection using Wi-Fi or USB-C. And of course, using hand gestures on headsets in AR see-through or VR pass-through, but of course, in case of both AR and VR, also controls are possible. And we started with international standards for images from multiple modalities, namely DICOM standard and PACS. But we are also compatible with other formats like 3D sliceable image computing platform compatible formats, NRRD and NAFT. And in case of volume rendering, ray matching, we can of course customize transfer function for different medical specialties. And a little bit of technical specification. So in case of connection, the Wi-Fi signal between PC and headset is based on router or mobile hotspot. So namely, we can go with our mobile phone in case of this. And we've tested successfully this project starting from October on Microsoft HoloLens 2 and MetaQuest Pro devices. When in case of HoloLens, we are using remoting approach, and in case of MetaQuest Pro, both handheld controllers and hand gestures were used. And this is, of course, optional step to segment those data. But this optional overlay with controlling of the segment's transparency is very interesting and could be used, for example, in case of some specific measurements. And we've tested also automation schemes for segmentation based on deep learning with voxel resampled to 400 millimeters, 400 microns, with the plans in the future to go to higher resolutions in case of those models. And we also tested some and implement some add-ons, some dedicated functions for example, for location of the vector for the tooth being brought down. And about that, Professor, of course, could tell a little bit more, or manipulation of the transfer function parameters. So here's a little demo of this type of visualization based on Microsoft HoloLens version 2, with not only possibility to manipulate one hand or two-hand based on hand gestures, but also to use some additional tools like this cross-section tool to be able to see through the volume, and after that, of course, also manipulate this type of data. There's possibility, of course, to zoom to scale this volume, and this is quite recent cooperation. As I mentioned, we started it on October, but we've got some additional plans, both in case of segmentation. Here we've got the first result of manualized segmentation, and another, this is fully automatic segmentation of all teeth, all teeth. And there is also a plan to verify those this type of visualization on other devices, not only headsets, but also simple hand gesture control like lip motion, and with the help of flat air and 3D screens. And a few words about related work here in Sano. The PhD project by Tomasz Szczepański devoted to this segmentation for orthodontic treatment planning, with, of course, with cooperation with Professor Fudalej, and other related work for this haptic enhanced VR and AR possibilities. This is the work by Kuba Hrobociński with University, also with the cooperation with University of Sheffield. And so, what is our collaboration offer in this case? So definitely we can adjust and modify the project to various specializations. There's no problem to visualize other type of data, to add some other tools, not only those measurements, vectors, but others. And I encourage you to visit our VR and robotics lab in Healthcare Informatics Group in Sano to see also other technologies that are used there. And to sum up, our approach was to help physicians to use those data that are standardly acquired, to use also different various types of headsets, not only one and dedicated, but also to use also cheaper headsets like MetaQuest headsets that are quite cheap nowadays, with this option of color pass-through. So at this stage, this project is, of course, focused on orthodontics, and this is good opportunity to also hear some words from professor, from clinician after my presentation. That was quite technical. So thank you very much.
Do we have any questions? Yeah, maybe we start over there, and then let's move to you.
I would like to ask if you are taking into account other modalities like magnetic resonance, because computed tomography is harmful, and we know that, for example, for children it makes even 5 times occurrence of some cancers in the head. So if you are interested in MRI, do you have any experience?
Yeah, of course, there's no problem to use other modalities like MRI scans. Of course, it depends on medical specialty. In case of orthodontics, the CBCT or DIMLI-CT is a standard. but in other cases, MR data are of course welcome and can be visualized in the same way using this DICOM standard as an input.
We have some experience in using MRI. If you would like to collaborate or forward this, welcome to contact.
Of course, we should talk. Thanks.
And there was one more question, or yeah, and so.
I was curious about two things. First is that you have this segmentation. So what dice do you have right now on those?
So this part of Tomasz is the new type of unit model that was certainly modified to use in orthodontics. The dice, I don't have the results here, but are of course over 88 or 87%, but nice, yeah. Still the main problem was the classification, not the segmentation, and in this case the two teeth are also fully classified for those 32 labels.
And the second is, what is the main purpose? So who will use it in the future? How do you think?
So the main purpose was to use it before the planning or during the planning of the procedure, and this is of course the main use case, but I think the professor will talk a little bit about the main focus after this preliminary steps. This is quite recent cooperation, but I suppose that in the future it also can be used with the help of the simulation, not only the visualization of the data, and this is our main focus here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. I think we need to move now on. We have, so once again, thank you for your presentation. And last but not least, it's my honor to introduce Professor Piotr Fudalej as our speaker, a distinguished figure in orthodontics, renowned for his dynamic role as both an influential researcher and skilled clinician. He is head of the Department of Orthodontics at Jagiellonian University Medical College, graduated from the Warsaw Medical University with a degree in dentistry. He also completed biology at the University of Warsaw and specialized studies in orthodontics at the University of Washington in the US. So today Professor Fudalej will present on the topic of a randomized clinical trial addressing the research question, can the visualization of impacted teeth prevent complication? I kindly invite you to take the floor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It will be a rather short presentation, very clinical. I will take you from pretty spectacular area of cardiology to dentistry. That seems a bit trivial to probably most of you or all of you, but remember, dentistry or orthodontics is done much more often than cardiac surgeries. So that may seem trivial, but the market is much, much bigger. It's dissipated. That means that the amount of investment, if there are investors here, are the threshold for this investment is much lower than in heart surgery or cardiology. And we all have teeth. According to data, Dutch data, recent Dutch data, 74% of Dutch teenagers are being orthodontically treated. And later on, most likely 99%, I give you 1%, Hans, that you might not have orthodontic treatment in the past. So maybe not all Dutchmen will get braces in their lives, but this is really widely performed procedure. So, sorry, let's go back. You see the title, and you may not be familiar in the orthodontic context what those two blue words highlighted in blue words mean: impacted and complications. So impaction, that means that the tooth fails to fully emerge through the gums into expected position for some reason. Usually it's a lack of space. So imagine the tooth is like a car and we need to park it in right, it should self-park in the right place, but the place is too small. So we need to, that this is how we define the impaction. Well, on the previous slide, there was an impaction of wisdom teeth. This is not usually that important, but much more, not much more often, much more serious is the impaction of the upper canines, upper lower canines. These are teeth that we are showing when we are smiling. We should have them in the right places. And actually, this impaction occurs in 2–3% of patients. This is quite often. And what can happen? Well, the other word was complication. And you see here, oops, can I use the, no pointer. So you see here a small catastrophe. The wisdom tooth is hitting against the roots of the second molar and is causing resorption. Usually, the prognosis for the second molar is quite bad, and the tooth is lost later on. So the problem is what to do, especially when we are thinking about the impacted canines, how these teeth are being managed. We try to mechanically bring them into occlusion, bring them into right place. We design different appliances. You see here these different colors. This yellow color is the appliance. We have to apply mechanical force. So we have to expose the impacted tooth, attach or glue or fix attachment to this tooth, and then mechanically bring this tooth into the right place. You see the arrow, green arrow. And this is critical because we have to attach, and the attachment is being attached by the surgeon. Orthodontist is planning into which direction, with which force, the force will be applied, and the technician is making the appliance. So there are 3 persons involved, and the critical factor is the vector, the direction of force, and this is the green arrow. So you see here, direction of traction, place of bonding, attachment, and design of appliance, and 3 different persons are involved. And if you use, and this is, Kamiński already showed this, so this is a small visualization, what we can do with the HoloLens augmented reality device. We can see whether the damage of the root has already happened or not. We can look in 3-dimensional way through the teeth, through the bone, and then we can plan traction. And this is what we do. We want to test if we use the HoloLens goggles with 3D augmented reality visualization. If we plan traction here, what we do, we place the attachment that should be glued during the surgical operation. We have to uncover impacted tooth and place the attachment. This is what the surgeon does, and the orthodontist plans the traction, the direction into which the tooth will be brought into occlusion, to right place. This is what you already saw. This is segmentation of teeth, because on the previous slide, the teeth were not segmented. But if we add segmentation, and you ask about dice, about the accuracy of segmentation, and the dice is usually in the best algorithm around 90%. But the problem is that what we need very precise segmentation of the roots, because the roots are the parts of the teeth we don't see, and the dice is not so good for. So dice, that means how accurate automatic segmentation works for roots is not so high. But adding automatic segmentation, we could much precisely, hopefully, guide the teeth through the bone into the right position. So in summary, combining volume data and HoloLens goggles can increase effectiveness of treatment of impacted teeth and reduce complication rate, hopefully. And we are testing this in the randomized clinical trial. And accurate automatic segmentation of teeth could help assess treatment progress. That means that we could take another CBCT of this part of where the impacted tooth is and superimpose on the original image and see how the teeth, neighboring teeth are they damaged or are they healthy, and so on. And collaboration, and this is what's the most important in my opinion, collaboration between clinicians and let's say technical persons are critical for the success. If you are dentistry, as I said, is usually seen as quite trivial, but if you find anything interesting in this project, in testing in dentistry, different ideas with visualization of teeth, of bones, of different structures of the face, I would be very happy to work with you together. Thank you very much for your attention. And all the best.
Thank you, Professor, for a very concise, interesting presentation. Do we have one short, urgent question? Yes, here.
I am very curious. So have you talked with the dentist? They actually want to use it? Because, you know, we have several projects in the heart, actually, and VR in the heart, or for example in the brain.
I'm sorry, I did not hear your first part of the question.
So my question is, if actually dentists would like to use it, you know, because you know, for example, in the heart they actually say they want it, but there are no big scale usage right now.
That's the beginning. I think that the goggles are not the most comfortable ways how to visualize, how to see, but there are three-dimensional monitors, so projecting like a three-dimensional image. And this and with haptic, this is the sensor of haptic of the gestures would be very helpful because, for example, imagine that you're a dentist, you are treating patients, and you would like to see that you turn the tooth around, see the details of the internal structure of the bone, and you have gloves on. So what you have to do, ideally, would have to have a screen with not a flat image, three-dimensional image on the flat screen, but three-dimensional image projected, so to speak, in the air. So you see three-dimensionally, and sensors that are sensing your gestures, and that will be really helpful because this is just those impacted teeth. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We know about the root therapy, and many patients need to retreatment, so the teeth are really in a bad condition and they have to be retreated. And this is really difficult for the dentist. You have to identify very tiny canals in the teeth. So if you can use the large volume CBCT images of the particular tooth, visualize, automatically segment and visualize the internal structure of the teeth and then project it, it will be really very interesting for I think, for dentists to use this technology. So, I'm sorry for talking too much.
No.
At least you hear my passion for this.
That was excellent, and if there are any more questions, I'd like to suggest to move them to the coffee break. This was already the last presentation, so I'd like to thank all the speakers for their lectures, and we started a bit late and we also end a bit late. I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoyed this session, and let's hope that the future of hospitals will be bright with technology. Thank you and enjoy your coffee break.
The streets feel alive, we're mixed with light, ghost town blown down, and life shines back, going past such a blast on a train, we're born on a place, to feel the rush again, and it's never coming down, we're invincible.
Akamai jest firmą założoną w 1998 roku. Jesteśmy największą platformą internetową na świecie. Każdego dnia każdy z nas korzysta tak naprawdę z usług Akamai, z serwerów Akamai, nawet nie wiedząc o tym. Wynika z tego, że zarządzamy około 20% tak zwanego web trafiku, czyli ruchu w sieci, właśnie przechodzi przez serwery Akamai. Firmy technologiczne i finansowe już były wtedy w Krakowie. Nie byliśmy pierwszą firmą. Ale szczerze mówiąc, właśnie to był taki argument dla Akamai za tym, żeby tu być. Czyli fakt, że są tu inne firmy technologiczne, finansowe, rozpoznawalne marki, też już duża część biznesu tak naprawdę, to był jakby dla nas taki argument, że jeśli te firmy globalne tak doskonale sobie radzą na tym lokalnym rynku pracy, no to my też sobie poradzimy. Biuro w Krakowie jest nie tylko największym biurem Akamai w Europie, ale około 10% pracowników, globalnych pracowników, znaczy wszystkich pracowników firmy jest w Krakowie. To nikt nigdy nie przypuszczał, że tak wiele działów, a szczególnie tak bardzo zaawansowanych finansowo i technicznie właśnie trafi do Krakowa. Kraków dzisiaj jest postrzegany jako taki silny hub właśnie innowacyjny, technologiczny, finansowy. I tutaj do Krakowa przyjeżdża się tak naprawdę po to, żeby pracować naprawdę z najlepszymi specjalistami w tych dziedzinach, w tych branżach. To jest niewyobrażalny sukces Krakowa, który się wydarzył prawdopodobnie od ostatnich, nie wiem, 20-25 lat.
Shell jest obecny w Krakowie od 15 lat. Zaczynaliśmy jako jeden z pierwszych inwestorów w branży nowoczesnych usług. Dzisiaj jesteśmy jednym z największych w regionie. Zatrudniamy przeszło 4,5 tysiąca specjalistów z bardzo szerokiego zakresu kompetencji. Obsługujemy całą globalną grupę Shell i rozwijamy się w kierunku coraz bardziej zaawansowanych, kompleksowych ról, które też powodują, że nasi pracownicy mogą znaleźć tutaj coraz ciekawsze ścieżki kariery. Dla Shella Kraków to przede wszystkim dostęp do bardzo wszechstronnego talentu. To są najlepsze uniwersytety w Polsce, to jest dobra współpraca z uczelniami, ale to jest również miasto samo w sobie, które oferuje bogate życie kulturowe i jest po prostu atrakcyjnym miejscem do życia. Dla nas też kluczowym partnerem jest miasto, ponieważ chodzi tutaj przede wszystkim o zapewnienie jak najlepszych warunków do życia dla naszych pracowników. Zgodnie z naszą strategią, aby wspierać neutralność energetyczną, również interesuje nas, jak Kraków stara się być coraz bardziej zdrowym miejscem do życia dla mieszkańców. Czyste powietrze, zrównoważony transport to są atuty, które również zachęcają nas, aby tutaj być.
Cały czas mamy poczucie tworzenia czegoś rewolucyjnego w Sintericie. I to nie jest tylko slogan. Jesteśmy jednym z 3 producentów desktopowych urządzeń SLS na całym świecie. Jest nisza na rynku w branży SLS, czyli w drukarkach 3D. Idea pojawiła się taka, żeby stworzyć drukarkę, która będzie kosztowała 5000 euro i będzie dostępna nie tylko dla największych graczy, ale też dla małych i średnich przedsiębiorców. Znakomitym czynnikiem, który bardzo nam w tym pomaga, jest tak naprawdę lokalizacja w Krakowie. Kraków, w którym mamy Akademię Górniczo-Hutniczą, Politechnikę Krakowską czy Uniwersytet Jagielloński, to są źródła znakomitych, wykwalifikowanych inżynierów, którzy tworzą naszą firmę. My zbudowaliśmy naszą firmę w oparciu o kapitał ludzki, który oferuje to miasto. Kraków daje najlepszych ludzi i jest to strzał w dziesiątkę.
Misją Fundacji OMG KRK jest budowa światowej klasy ekosystemu innowacji w Krakowie. Podnosić tą innowacyjność naszego miasta i rzeczywiście przyciągać z jednej strony firmy, które chcą tutaj zakładać działalność i działają właśnie w tym obszarze innowacyjnym, a z drugiej strony pomagać tym firmom, które już tutaj rozpoczęły tę działalność w różnych aspektach. Budowa jakby marki dla ekosystemu, czyli staramy się przedstawić Kraków zarówno wewnętrznie dla mieszkańców i innych aktorów tutaj działających jako taka kolebka innowacji, ale oczywiście staramy się budować ten dobry wizerunek na zewnątrz.
Pomysł na firmę i sam rozwój firmy mają taki charakter bardzo ewolucyjny. Wymyśliłem taki interfejs, że kalkulator liczy w dowolnym kierunku, a nie tylko z góry na dół. Liczymy właśnie wszystko, bo te takie policzalne problemy, one istnieją w każdym obszarze naszego życia. My istniejemy po to, żeby te bariery usunąć w tych wszystkich miejscach, żeby to liczenie było na tyle łatwe, szybkie i przyjemne, żeby wszyscy to częściej robili. Kraków dlatego, że tu się dobrze żyje. Tu przyjechałem na studia, to mi się podobało, tu zostałem. Posiada Kraków istotne swoje zalety. Z naszej na przykład perspektywy mamy tutaj super fajnych, młodych ludzi. Także z wszystkich krakowskich tych głównych uczelni mamy lub mieliśmy doktorantów u siebie i to bardzo fajnie nam